Hey authors, Sarah here today. I am logging on for a quick stream about a topic that I've been seeing coming up a lot in the author community, and that is bookmarks and business cards. Why are these items coming up? Well, with conferences around the corner, we've got folks preparing to meet fans for the first time, to meet other authors, and bookmarks and business cards are both great tools in an author's arsenal to use to promote themselves, to promote their books. What I did want to talk about before we get into actually designing them, because I want to show you guys how easy you can design your own bookmarks, your own business cards right in Canva. Because we are getting close to the start of these conferences, you are going to begin getting up against a time crunch. If you're hiring a designer for these designs, probably know that they've got a lot of other authors reaching out to them. And if you're leaving it to this point in time, you might want to take a more expedited route in creating these yourselves. And I will go through in Canva how easily you can do this and how cost effective it can be in the long run. So before we get started though on the designs, I actually wanted to talk about the bookmarks and business cards themselves and the use case scenarios, because I think sometimes folks can get mixed up on what these items are used for. And for my opinion and how I design my bookmarks and business cards, a bookmark is a sales tool. It is designed for your readers. It's designed to entice people to read your work. A business card is a communication tool. You're not really going to be giving out business cards to your readers, to your fans, just because that's not what a business card is intended to do. You want to have who you are and how to contact you on a business card. You don't want to have a lot of other items cluttering up the business card and taking away from the key message that you're trying to get across, which is, hey, here's my contact information, reach out to me. With business cards, some authors feel that, they want to have their accolades on them, all of their book covers, any type of recognition that they've received, quotes, reviews about their book. Not really the appropriate place on a business card. Save that for your bookmarks, because those are the tools that you're going to be wanting to use to entice readers to review and read your work. Whereas a business card is something that you're handing out to a colleague, to a peer, to stay connected. So just some things to keep in mind when you are designing your own items. Your bookmark is really the sales tool, where the business card is the communication tool. And because it is a very easy communication tool, we're going to start off by designing a business card first and kind of covering the basis of what we would want to include on those particular designs. So let's get right into Canva. You can see that I am on my homepage. I'm really just going to start from scratch. I'm going to type in business card and take a look at the templates that Canva has available, because if you're pressed for time, you have the option to really plug and play a lot of the information that is here based on your based on your brand. If you are already a user of Canva, you've probably already added items to your brand kit. You may have created a logo for yourself. All of that information is already at your fingertips, so that you can use these templates to really customize for your particular usage needs. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to start. I do love pictures. I think that having a picture on a business card is a great way to keep when you're giving your business card out. Let's say you're at a conference, people are meeting hundreds and hundreds of people for the first time. Having your photo on your business card really helps the person, when they're looking at I remember meeting this individual. If you're not including your photo, no big deal. Maybe it's, for whatever reasons you choose not to, but I find that having a photo added in can really help the memorability of your experience with the person that you're handing your business card to. So I'm going to go ahead and start by customizing this particular template. And you can see this is actually a one-sided business card. If I go back to my options here, we can look to see where we have one of two hovering over on the templates themselves. I'm going to stick with this template that's just one-sided, just so I can show you guys how easy it is to create a double-sided business card in this in particular use case. So right away, I've got a photo, I've got name, job, and all of my contact information. So let me go ahead and kind of plug and play the items that I already have in my Canva arsenal. I'm going to head right into my author brand folder that I've created, and I'm going to put in my headshot. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to adjust the font that is being used in this business card, and I'm going to switch it over to my author brand because I want to be using the same fonts that I would use on my website, on my newsletter, wherever I'm using my fonts that are branded for my author self. And I'm going to go ahead and convert my name over to this, the font that I normally use on my website. You'll notice everything's capitalized. I don't like that look with this particular font. And if I go up here where it says this uppercase icon, if you're trying to figure out like, hey, my cap locks isn't on, but why when I type my name is everything still uppercase? And that's because I have this particular item selected here in my effects. So if I go ahead and make sure that I unclick that so that I can type out my name as is. And here, I'm going to type in who I am, what I do. This is another item that, when you're putting together the information that you are, that is going to be used on your business card, remind people who you are. Let them know, like, I am a mystery author. I'm a content creator. If you're a mystery author, just say Sarah Eber, mystery author. Just reminding your role, your title, rather than, like, here's my Kirkus review, here's my, here is the NetGalley review for my books. That kind of information you're going to want to put on a bookmark because that's selling your book. This, again, is a communication tool for reminding folks, hey, like, we spoke at this particular conference. Here's where you can connect with me. So now that I have my name and what I do, I can go ahead and come into my into these individual communication tabs and go ahead and put in my information. And I don't know about you, I'm not a fan of putting my location on information because you can find that if you go on the internet enough, and I also don't necessarily want people knowing where I live per se. So if there are items on here that you're not comfortable sharing, definitely feel free to remove them. I, again, am a millennial. I hate talking on the phone, so it's like, don't call me, please. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove that that phone number. Of course, if you want to put your phone number, contact information, feel free to include whatever you'd like. In place of my physical location, I'm going to put where people can find me on social media. So I'm going to go ahead and put my Instagram handle. And because I am using an Instagram handle, I'm going to come into the elements section of my of Canva and type in Instagram because I want to use the icon so that people know that I am utilizing that this is my Instagram handle. And I can adjust it to be the same size as my existing icons. Right now, I'm just going to switch the color to this green tone so that I can swap everything out to my brand colors in just a moment. So we have my Connect, my website, and my Instagram handle, how people can find me. I also want to share how, I'm just moving this down a little bit, because I want to talk about QR codes. QR codes are the 21st century easy way to connect with somebody. All you need to do is hover your cell phone camera over the QR code. Your phone will snap the QR code and launch whichever website you are directing folks to. So in Canva, to do that particular feature, you want to actually scroll down on your side bar. You probably won't be able to see it immediately because of the background that I have here, but there is a section called apps. And when I click on the apps I get to search all the different applications that Canva has interfaced with, that they've designed to further enhance your design experience. And I'm just going to go ahead and type in QR. We actually have a lot of different options. I like to use the basic Canva QR code creator. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And then for my URL, you have a lot of different options. If you are using a Linktree service, you will be able to put in your custom link in this particular item and have your QR code generated. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to create custom links for particular items or events that I have created or that I'm hosting or that are accessible online. And I use a specific URL for that particular item so I can really judge how effective that campaign has been. For example, let's say that I'm doing an author takeover on Facebook and I want to be sharing the purchase link for my book during this author takeover. Yes, I have a URL for my books that I use pretty much on most of my marketing materials. But if I want to see like how effective, how many people who came to my author takeover engaged and actually clicked on the link to either just look at my book or buy my book, I can set that up with a customized URL. The service I use is Bitly. I use their free service. It's wonderful. I can't recommend it enough. There are several other services out there. I don't know about them beyond Bitly. So with a particular link shortener service, I guess, URL custom link, however you want to define it, you can really track the analytics of that particular link when you're using it in certain situations. So for this particular item, for my business card, I would I would want people to be directed to my website because then from there they'll get invited to my newsletter. If I am creating a QR code on my business card, I would be interested to see like how many people used my QR code and visited this link. And from there, I would be able to, I could go to Bitly, I could enter the URL for my website, but I could change it to be a custom link so that I can really monitor how effective this QR code was in my business card. Sidebar, I like to see how well my marketing techniques are working. And this is a way that I can kind of keep track. Other times that I've used this is when I've done BookBub ads or Amazon ads. I've used custom links for those items so that I can see like how many people are actually clicking on this link, because sometimes the information that you're provided from those marketing services maybe don't give you the insight that you're looking for. So that's just another side tip. So regardless, for this particular example, I'm just going to enter in my website and make sure that you spell it correctly. And you can see as I'm typing, the QR code is being generated. And I hit this generate button. You probably can't see it too clearly on the screen at the moment, but you get your QR code generated and you can position it wherever you'd like. It doesn't have to be super, super big, but do keep in mind that you want it to be clear enough when it's in business card form that you can, a camera can capture it. And right now my business card looks huge. What you can do is drag it down to kind of a normal size for a business card, and feel free to put up your cell phone at your computer screen and snap a picture of that QR code to test it out. As long as everything is grabbing on your phone, you don't have to worry about the image being too small or too blurry. So that's, again, just another tip when you are creating those codes. Just for balancing purposes, I'm actually going to make mine a little bit bigger and make sure that it is in line with the top of my photo, because I like nice clean lines. And there we go. Okay, So now that I've created the information that's on my business card, I now need to do some branding for it. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to switch out again I'm going to switch out the fonts for my personal brand kit so that people who are familiar with me online, they know that these are the fonts that I'm using. So you're seeing that that consistency and cohesiveness on your marketing materials. And I actually have the ability to go ahead and down at the bottom, again, my face is blocking it on the screen right now, but down here in the bottom, you have the option where you can change everything that's in this particular font to the one that you've selected. So I'm going to hit this change all button so that you can see how everything automatically switches over to my brand font. And I'm going to make things a little bigger here and do a little bit of adjustment with my line spacing. These I'm also going to make bigger so that people can see them. All right, so we've done the font adjustments for my author brand. And let's see here. I'm actually going to make my photo a little bit smaller. There we go. And now we're going to do the color adjustments with my author brand. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come up to my font color or my text color, and I've already got my brand kit selected. I'm going to go ahead and pick my handy dandy purple font. Again, down at the bottom, you're going to have the ability to change all. So I'm changing everything that is this brown color to purple. And you can see how that takes place. Again, here, I'm going to come in and do the very same with this greenish color. I'm going to go with a darker purple and again change all. I guess I selected the wrong purple here, or the wrong green here when I did my Instagram photo, so I did have to make that particular adjustment. And over here, again, I'm going to pop in the darker purple. So now I have things more on my brand coloring. And because I have other colors in my arsenal, that's where we're going to play now with the background of my design. We're still within using the template itself, but we're going to do a little bit of customization to make it more reflective of me as an author. So I'm going to come back in here and take a look at my brand colors. I'm going to, let's see here. I can see now that I've deleted some stuff that there are additional icons that are hanging out. Oh, I see here. These were, again, that's how we're going to do it. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Not the yellow background. We're using that as kind of our base, just our base, so that we can see how everything is lining up. I'm actually going to come back in here and I need to make an adjustment because I am going to be switching the background to something I think a little bit more fun. But I want my Instagram camera to still be, let's see here. Position back. So if I switch out the background color, oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Oop. Switch out the background color, these still have the same yellow aspect of my author brand. So now that we've gotten a little bit more, we've gotten to layer in some more of the colors from my brand kit, I'm just going to come into the photos section and I'm going to search for abstract purple, because I love having abstract designs. I love how this looks. Of course, we do need to make some updates to make sure that you can see all of the information that I have available. Let's go ahead and drag down the transparency just a little bit because we don't want the background to be overwhelming. Oh, I love it. I love this. Just going to do some repositioning of my contact information so the contact info is clearer. I think I'm going to make them a little bigger. And I'm going to make them more closer together. And this is probably where the most tedious amount of work comes into play, is just aligning everything so it looks like, so that it looks cohesive and uniform. But even then, that was pretty easy. Canva has all these nice features to tell you, you know, these are all 0.042 away from each other. And then let's just do a little bit of, I want that center line to, all right, let's zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. Hopefully you guys can see the center lines that I'm referring to. Okay, excellent. So now that we have everything in line, looking good, I'm just going to make a couple more adjustments to the positioning. And let's see here. Perfect. So now I have my business card ready to go. And we took something that looked like, let's go back, like this, which is a template all on its own, which if you wanted to use this template, you have the option to do that. But using the features within Canva and our brand kit, I'm able to adjust it so that it looks more in line with what my readers and followers are used to seeing on social media or on my newsletter, however I'm connecting with them. So I could be done with this if I wanted to be done, if I wanted to do a one-sided business card, we'd be all set to go. However, I like to make things fun, and I want to show you guys how easy it is to make something double-sided. I'm really just going to come in. I'm going to go ahead here and use the little option ... in the corner of my design, and I'm going to duplicate my page so that I have an exact copy of my business card. And really at this point, I'm just going to delete everything. Because on the front of my business card, I'm just going to be using my logo and my author brand logo, or my author brand motto. So I already have my logo uploaded into Canva. This is another instance, if you don't have a logo, you could probably just copy your name as it's written, and have it look just as nice and professional. I'm going to be using my logo that I've already designed. I'm going to adjust it so that it is center on my bookmark, but you'll notice that it's like, okay, there's still some space down here. I'm going to come into the text box. I am going to select another one of my branded fonts, and it's very similar. It's actually the same one that I've been using on the back. And I am going to type out my author motto, which is chic, clever, cozy. And then I am going to adjust my colors here. Let's see. Boop. My colors, I am doing some effects. I'm actually going to do some curvature. And again, you probably can't see it quite because I'm in the way, but in the shape section, you have the option for curving your text. I'm going to curve mine in the inverse, so it kind of cuddles or hugs my logo. So not only am I telling somebody who I am, Sarah Eber, but I'm telling them a little bit what I'm about. So they're going to know, oh, she is a cozy, she's into cozies. And once they flip on the back, they'll see, oh, she's a mystery author, cozy mystery author. Have this aligned. I think I want to adjust, I don't want the curve to be as severe as I have it. There we go. I want this to be bold, but because I don't have the option to make this particular font bold, you'll come across that in some of the fonts that you're using in Canva. You can in the effects section again. I like to use, this is a little life hack that I have. I like to use the splice style, but make sure that the offset is set to 0. And then I adjust it to the color that I'm using and drag down the thickness so that it's not like super overwhelming. And there. Now it's a little bit more prominent. And we have my business card ready to go. Front and back, all set. Within Canva, you have the option to print your business cards. I have never used Canva's ordering professional print service. My preferred printing service is Vistaprint. We'll talk a little bit about printing services, especially when we're working on bookmarks, because honestly, when it comes to designing a bookmark, the hardest thing is making sure that your bookmark fits within the specifications of your printing service. However, Canva has a lot of tools to make it very easy for you. So I'm going to be pointing those out in just a few moments. So you could order professional prints within Canva itself. You can kind of see the nice print preview that they give you. If you are not, if you're not using Canva as your printing service, you would go to the share and download. In this particular section, I recommend doing PDF print because it is best for printing, and these are going to be print designs. Canva is based in digital designing, so again, using print will help make it more suitable for a printer. And why it's more suitable for a printer is because you have the option to adjust the color profile. I really can't explain what a color profile is. All I know is that for some reason, RGB, red, green, blue, is how digital items are displayed on web pages in digital print forms of media, whereas in this CMYK, which I believe is like cyan, magenta, yellow, and I don't even know what the K stands for. But what this will do is it will convert the printing profile over to this CMYK so that when what you are seeing is going to be more close than what you would be receiving on your printed item, because the color profiles actually do change when ink is a physical item, when something is inked onto a page versus what is being beamed back at you on the screen. So in order for your color palette to look exactly as you have designed it, you're going to want to use the CMYK profile. If you're not using that, the colors that you are seeing on your digital screen may be different than what you receive. The difference isn't huge, but it could be enough for you to be like, this is not what I wanted. So again, that is a very important item to note when you are ordering business cards. If somebody is designing a business card for you, make sure that they are delivering it to you in that CMYK. Usually they will already know to do that. And because they would be sending it in a PDF print file, which is specifically customized for printing services. So that's my spiel on business cards. Business cards, again, are a communication tool. You don't want to overwhelm them with information about your books, reviews, medals, accolades, what have you. Save that all for your bookmark. And let's get into building a bookmark right now. And if you think about what we just did, created a business card. If you think about the amount of time that I actually spent doing the creation itself, rather than explaining and talking and kind of walking you through, it amounts to no time at all. And if you already are a user of Canva and you've built a brand kit, you have items loaded, you have your photo available, like it becomes so easy that, why spend money paying somebody else to do it when you can really just put all that information in and do it for yourself. So let's do bookmarks. Bookmarks, I will say, are a little bit trickier than a business card because there's a lot of information that you can incorporate or figure out how you want it displayed on your bookmark. For those of us who write multiple series, multiple books, it can be hard to juggle all of the information that you are wanting to promote. So a few options. I'm actually going to share with you the bookmark that I have created for myself. Here we go. And I've actually created two. Because I have multiple series, and having a lot of book covers on a bookmark can be a little overwhelming on the design itself. It, depending on how it's done, it can look amateur. It doesn't look like they fit. Things just don't necessarily, having more isn't necessarily better. So my recommendation is, what is the book that, the latest book that you're trying to promote, and how can you showcase off that it's a part of a series, it is that you're an author who writes multiple series, what have you. And so I'm going to be relying a lot on the series logos that I've created for myself. So you can see here that I am advertising the release of Tag Me for Murder. I've got a fun little quip to kind of, entice the person who is picking up my bookmark, like, ooh, someone swiped right for murder. There are folks that will put long descriptions of their books. They will put, all of the awards that they've won, and what have you. I think a bookmark is a very small amount of space, and you risk overwhelming it if you are putting in a lot of information. I'm more about, having some eye-catching quotes, quips, very short blurbs of text to kind of pull your reader in, and then giving them the tools of, hey, this is how you can find me. This is where you can get all the information that you need. So the front of my bookmark is a copy of my cover, a little quip, and then the series logo that I'm actively promoting. Whereas on the back, I have my picture, just so that they remember who I am. Again, this isn't a must, especially on a bookmark that can actually take up some kind of prime real estate, but I'm all about images and graphics. A picture says 1,000 words. So I want folks to remember who I am, what I'm about, and what I'm writing. So you can see that I have the logos of my other book series. I can have my website listed in full here on the bookmark, but I also have a QR code available. I let people know where they can find me on social media. I think actually this QR code brings people to my website, but on my social media hub. My social media hub, it's just a page that I've built on my website that basically links out to everything. It's my own internal link tree that I manage. You could use your link tree in this particular instance, but I like to pull people to my website because they'll get the pop-up to sign up for my newsletter. They'll be able to click around and see like other stuff that I'm doing. So that's why I recommend on your bookmark that you're directing people to your website, not necessarily to your book. However, if you are like gung-ho about, I want to put my Amazon link on here, feel free to do so. I just recommend thinking about, when you're handing out a bookmark, when you're giving out a bookmark, you're also trying to build a lasting relationship with the reader, and sending them to your website where they can connect with you, they can see everything that you're working on, is a really nice way to start that connection. So, however, I'm not done. This is bookmark number 1. Because I am a person that has multiple series, I want to make sure that I am reaching out to different readerships. Tag Me for Murder is a very straightforward contemporary cozy mystery, whereas my Glenmeyer Whim Mystery series is for paranormal lovers. And sometimes those audiences overlap and sometimes they do not. So I want to make sure that I am providing, information that anybody would want to have access to. So I've done pretty much, I followed the same formula for my bookmark with my Glenmeyer Whim Mysteries. So if people are kind of collecting, it's like, oh, Sarah's got, a very similar bookmark style for her different series. Again, I am having the latest cover. I'm using the colors that are supporting that particular cover. Again, I'm not necessarily using my personal author brand colors because my bookmark is really here to sell my book, not me as a person. So that's why I would be using my series colors, the colors that are supporting the book itself. So I've got my cover, I've got my little quip to be like, ooh, let's entice our reader to read more, and I've got my series logo. And again, the back is very much the same. I've just swapped out my different series for the folks that are picking up the Glenmeyer Wynn mysteries. They're going to also see that, oh, Sarah writes the trending topic mysteries. I am having the QR code direct them to the same spot. So the information is pretty uniform, but it's different enough because of the colors and the front of the bookmark that's advertising a particular book in itself. So that was a lot of information to go over. In no way, shape, or form is this the end all and be all of how a bookmark should be designed. We're actually going to go into Canva and just look at the bookmark templates so that if you're pressed for time and don't really have the quips picked out, you don't have series logos that have been designed or what have you, we can see what options are available with the bookmarks templates that we have. So we're going to go again to our homepage. I'm going to go right into the template section. I'm going to type in bookmark. One thing to be very, very, very aware of when you are doing a bookmark is the shape, the canvas size of your bookmark, because there are a lot of different printing services out there that have different specs for their bookmarks. Some are 2x6, some are 2x7, some are 2x8. Depending on what the size of your bookmark is, can really affect how your design looks. Because if your bookmark is super tall and skinny, you're going to have a trickier time putting in text, putting in images that are in full and are large enough for your audience to see. So when you are shopping around for printing services, be very mindful of what their specifications are. That can honestly be the biggest hurdle to overcome when you're designing a bookmark. That's something that you need to decide. Your designer isn't going to be the one that's setting these specifications. They're going to be asking you, what printing service are you planning to use, so that they can use those canvas size when they're doing their design. So it's just something to be mindful of when you are shopping around for a printing service. So let's take a look at what some of our bookmark templates are. We have got, these are very beautiful. This to be continued, very, very cute. These, so as we're looking at these are really not so much selling a book cover as a kind of a feel and a vibe. So we're probably going to have to do a little bit more legwork on converting our template from our book, from what we have in Canva, to what we want our books to be displayed. So I am this one where it has like these 3 images. I could visualize somebody plugging in their book covers in this instant. Again, totally fine way to show all the books in a series that you have, but it can be a little flat and maybe not as attention grabbing, or you'd have to work a little harder on the back to kind of entice your reader to be hooked by your book series, maybe your series log line or a really great review that you've gotten. So that's just something to be mindful of. Let's see. Ooh, there's my abstract. Let's use this because and the reason why I'm selecting it is purely based on the colors. I am already foreseeing that I'm going to be deleting the new chapter, new adventure. This is, you can see bookmark is 2x6 inches. So this is going to be a nice, like sturdy bookmark, like a stout bookmark, where you'll have a lot more space to use when you are designing it. And right away, this is actually really cool. a really cool feature. You can see like, Sarah, why is there this white space on your design already? Canva has already, because I'm doing a bookmark, they've already gone into the settings and shown the print bleed. Print bleed is really, really important when you are positioning or when you're uploading a design into your printing service and making sure that like nothing is getting cut off. Those print bleed lines are really like your hard stop of like, do not go beyond this point because your design will be distorted if you have fonts going over, images going over. It helps you give boundaries of where you should have your text and images focused on so that you don't risk them getting cut off. Back when I was first getting started, I did not understand that, and the business cards that I ordered were like half of them were cut off, and it looked awful. So again, because I'm doing a print design, it's automatically setting those print lines for me, which is great. But if you need to go in and adjust those settings, again, it's in the file, view settings, and show print bleed. And because I just don't like the white, I want this whole thing covered with my with this particular background image. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete the new chapter, new life. I'm going to double my page because I'm going to make this a double-sided bookmark. Again, it's very much not required to make it double-sided, but more real estate to deal with, why not? And I am going to use my Court of Mystery series this time to create a bookmark. And so I am going to take my book, Innocence in Prison. That's going to be the cover that I am working with. And I am a big believer in showcasing my cover. And one thing that you do have to be mindful of when you're creating a bookmark is the size of the text and the image itself, making it as big as possible so that your reader can see it clearly, but also not having it be kind of like designed presented in a way that's just kind of blah and basic. In this particular instance, I might even be tempted to crop my image a little bit so that just the image itself is presented. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe I'll just pull it down so that my name is here. Because, the Court of Mystery, Court of Mystery series title at the bottom is going to be so small on the bookmark that's like, it wouldn't even be legible. So we can have this design kind of cropped in a way that I'm seeing enough of the cover, but I'm also like not I don't have obscure text that like even somebody has this holding it up an inch away from their face would be able to see. So we have the cover, and in this instance, let's pretend that I don't have a logo for my book series, because honestly at this point I would slap on my Court of Mystery logo and pretty much maybe my log line if murder is a royal affair and be good. But because I don't have a logo for this particular design, I'm going to go into the elements section and I'm going to just search for an element that is representative of this series. You could do this. Let's say that you write a mystery about a quilter. You could search for quilting needles. Let's say you write a mystery about a cafe owner. You could search for a cup of coffee. Something that is indicative of what your series is about is a great way to use that icon to give more detail about your book without putting the words there, if that makes sense. So let's type in crown because this series is about a duchess. I'm going to go to my graphics and I already have so many that I love. I'm picking this one and aligning it, but I am going to switch it, and we're going to switch over to the Court of Mystery brand color here. I'm going to switch it to purple, because not only is purple part of my author brand, but it's also a part of the Court of Mystery, the color scheme. So I'm just going to put this little logo here. I'm not done. I'm going to go into my text. I'm going to add in a text box that is a part of my branding for this series. And I'm going to type in Court of Mystery. I'm going to adjust the size. And I'm careful. It's probably a little bit harder to see on the stream, but I'm being very careful to stay within all of the lines that Canva has provided me so that I am not getting things cut off. Again, that print bleed, those margins, very, very helpful. Going to make some adjustments to the line spacing. I'm going to swap over my color. Let's change all. And right away, I basically have a Court of Mystery series logo already designed for my bookmark. I'm going to show you guys that my little hack for making the text more bold. Again, using the splice effect, changing it to the color of the same color, just so that that Court of Mystery is more prominent, more bold. There we go. And to make things even more kind of popping off the page, I'm going to come up to my edit image. Oh, for this one, I can't do that. Bummer. But no fear. I've done this before. I'm a huge fan of shadows. I love making things jump off the page. And in the instances where I can't use the shadow function in Canva, I have a little hack that I use. Basically, I do a copy of the design that I want to shadow. I come into the transparency and I just drag it down. And you can see that I'm giving this a little shadow to my crown so that it's kind of jumping off at the reader. I'm going to do the very same with my image, but in this instance, I'm going to use the edit image and I have that ability to use the shadow feature. For this one, I have fallen in love with this new page lift because it really does push it off the page, but I also do love just having the support of having a box around my cover. And how I do the boxes is I use the shadow feature, but I jack the transparency up to 100 so that it's a solid color. And I bring down the blur so that it's very crisp. And I'm going to do my color. I'm going to select, this time actually, I'm going to select a yellow to kind of pair with the yellows that are in the design. I think this is the one I'm going to use. And hit apply. I can make, if I wanted to, I could make the border even thicker, but in this instance, I'm just going to have it be a thinner border. I'm waiting for it to save up at the top. Again, there have been times where I've been designing and I've been moving too quickly and Canva can't catch up with me. So in the instances where I'm doing shadow work, I do make sure that the changes have been saved before continuing on. Otherwise, it could just like flip it back, revert it to what it used to be. Okay, so I've got my cover, I've got my new logo. Here we have in this space, we have the ability to do a couple of things. We could add a review. We could add the series logo, series motto. So I would put in "Murder is a Royal Affair." In this particular instance, because I've been doing the log lines in my other designs, let's do a quote from a reader review. So I'm again using one of my brand specific text boxes, and I'll kind of do the structural changes once I'm done typing the quote. And so in my quote selection, for this one, I really love it because it showcases, hey, this is a book that is in a series, and it just keeps getting better as you go along. So it does, this particular quote does the heavy lifting for you. And this is where we really have to be mindful of our space, and how much text is taking up the bookmark, how the balance is between design and information. So making sure that the quote isn't bleeding off on the page and gets cut off. So, making sure that it's condensed, that it's aligned. Again, I'm going to come in and do my splicing feature to make it more bold so that it really pops off and is displayed. And I'm going to adjust the line spacing just a little bit. And let's see how it looks if I go. Nope. I like having it this way. Perfect. So now I've got my quote, Court of Mystery, latest book cover. Let's head to the back of our bookmark. Some things that you want to accomplish on the back of your bookmark: a call to action, visit, learn more, buy now, something along the lines of getting the person who's holding your bookmark to take action and go find your book. What I'd like to show you, I've done a lot of vertical designs. I'm going to actually show you horizontal, and how you can have horizontal information displayed. This is a little bit more complicated because you're kind of having to look at things like craning your neck side to side. You could have designed the bookmark, if you wanted to do it horizontal, you could have changed the canvas so that instead of 2x6, it would have been 6x2, and so everything would be presented in a horizontal manner. But then you would run into the same issue of working on the front of your design would have been harder because it would have been in the opposite or invert position. But have no fear. We're going to go ahead and start with the series logo, or the series motto on the back, because again, you're still wanting your reader to come with you to learn more about your book and really kind of get a sense of like, okay, what am I in store for? Because yes, I say I have this series keeps getting better. Great. Court of Mystery. Okay, it's probably mystery themed and it's probably has to do with royalty. But what kind of mystery? What kind of what have we got going on? So this is a great place to use your logline. And for my Court of Mystery series, my logline: murder is a royal affair. Probably the best thing I've ever come up with in my life. Okay, so this looks awful. However, let's start working this into a horizontal. I don't know. I can't do directions. Don't ask me right from left. Don't ask me vertical, horizontal. So I've just gone ahead and used the rotate feature. And there we go. We have murder is a royal affair. I want it to be big enough that my reader can really see it clearly. I'm dragging it so that it's middle of the page. I'm going to switch into my document colors so that I have that document. And instead of doing the splice, I'm going to do some shadowing so it really kind of pops off the page. Murder is a royal affair. I don't want the blur to be too much. And I want... let's see, actually I do want to keep it. I want the blur to be more. Perfect. Okay. So it's like, here's my quote for my book series. Murder is a royal affair. Again, now we have the kind of call to action, where do you want your reader to go? I'm going to actually just do a copy and paste of my Court of Mystery title that I used up here, flip it over on its side, and make these updates. And make just the adjustment of the Court of Mystery series. Court of Mystery series. And then we're going to do another text box. And I'm going to say learn more at I think the trickiest part is getting that alignment correct. This is going to be smaller. This one has the option to be bold. Let's see, learn more at, copy this particular text box so that it is still in the same www.saraheber.com. In this case, I would probably come into, I know that I could have used it. I said that I wasn't going to use my logo, but if I wanted to add in some more options on the back, I could, come in with my series logo, make it a little bigger, make sure that it's in the lines, within the lines of the printing service. And again, let's do that QR code. So again, I'm over here in my menu bar. My QR code item is right at the bottom. You guys can't see it. It's like barely right there at the top. We're going to add in the same saraheber.com, generate QR code. And the good thing about a QR code is it doesn't really matter like what size it is, positioning, just has to be big enough for your camera to capture. So I'm here using the lines, the very faint print lines. Let me actually zoom in to see if you guys can see it. Right here, see this line? I'm trying to like keep it in. There we go. So that it is equidistant from the edge as my logo is. Let me actually bring this up a little bit. Excellent. So now I have my bookmark. I have my front with the cover, with the little quote for readers to kind of be enticed by. I have a handmade logo that I have designed. And then on the back, I've used the horizontal print feature so that once somebody is able to flip it, they'll be able to read Murder is a Royal Affair, the Court of Mystery series. Learn more at www.saraheber.com. The reason why I did vertical in this instance, let me show you how all of this information would look if I wasn't doing vertical. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this page, and then I'm going to go about setting everything back to regular right to left. Oops, 220. Okay, so here's all my text information. The thing that is hard about a bookmark is you have very limited space to work with. And so in order for things not to be cut off, you have to make sure that everything is bunched together in a way that ensures that your design is whole. So I am bringing everything in. And you can see how it's kind of getting a little bit messier as I am bringing things in. And it's at this point, like, look at my poor website. How am I going to get the website on here as a whole? I think in this case, I would have to delete the www and just have people visit saraheber.com, which if your website is configured correctly, is going to give them to the same place. All right, so right away, everything is kind of like bunched and things are on different lines, and it's just not as fluid and not as graceful as having it spread out in a horizontal manner. And let's see, we can do a little bit of adjustment here with spacing. I love having Royal Affair on the same line, but in order to do that in a vertical manner, I would have to have my Royal Affair be quite small, and it doesn't feel as like impactful as I would want it to be. And even then, to get it within those printing lines is tricky. There we go. So it's like hits the edge of your bookmark. So you, again, run the risk of, if you are using a lot of text and having it in, just using a lot of text in general in a bookmark, your formatting can begin to look squished or condensed or just very like blocky, and you may not, it may not be as fluid or graceful as you would, wish it to be. I'm actually going to delete the to give myself a little bit more room, and bring this down, swap out the designs, bring my QR code down here as well so that all the images are condensed at the bottom. You do get a little bit more room to, like, I could put my photo up at the top if I wanted to. I could put some, icons for social media. I definitely am getting more space to put in text. Like, let's say, let me quickly just grab a quick blurb about this book, which I don't have memorized. So I'm actually just going to go really quickly to the series page and just grab my little blurb that I normally use when I'm describing the series. Go ahead and paste, and you're like, whoa, that looks awful. So I'm going to come in here, change. And this is where you can see, like, if you wanted to put in the description of your book, like how much space you have to work with, which isn't a lot. Let me go ahead and make it justified here. All right, so then you have like a little blurb. The spacing looks super weird there. Let's actually just do this. All right, so I've already used Murder's Royal Affair. After ascending the throne of Saphir, Duchess Jacqueline. Again, I'm trying to like take away some text so that it doesn't overwhelm the bookmark. And let's see if that actually helps with my justified view at all. Well, it does a little bit. Nice. No, great. Okay. So I'm being very careful still to be within the lines, the print lines, but now I have like a little blurb that I could use. So I definitely have more information available from doing when I'm doing a vertical versus horizontal option. So it's really your preference, how much detail do you want to give? If you have awards for a particular book, you could possibly put the award medals in place of just to fill up some of the space on the back. Or you could put the award on the front. If you do have a logo and you want to use it either maybe on the front or the back, you could have the award medals listed there as well. But again, like, real estate is very limited on a bookmark, so be very thoughtful about what you are selecting. A reader might not necessarily care whether your book has won an award. If they haven't heard of the award, like, they may be like, okay, like, I haven't heard of this award, like, what do I care? So thinking about what is going to connect with your readers the most is really, really important, because you do have limited space that you're working on, and you just want to be mindful of your bookmark is a selling tool. You want to be selling your book. You want to be selling your series, yourself as the author. So this is, be very thoughtful of what text and information that you're selecting when putting that together. And again, when you have your final bookmark, so let's say that, I'm going to go with page 1 and page 3 as my bookmark offering. I would again go to the download feature within Canva. PDF print is already selected for me, making sure that I am only selecting the pages that I want. And again, I need to make that switch over to CMYK for the best printing use so that the colors are the closest to what I have designed them to be. So while this stream went for more than an hour, the actual designing of a bookmark and a business card is fairly straightforward if you have been using Canva for other projects. You have your covers uploaded, you have your photo uploaded, you've built your brand kit. If you're starting from scratch and you have never even opened up Canva before, you have a lot of templates that you can work with. And as you are uploading, all you need to do is upload your book cover. If you know from your publisher what the title is, the title fonts or the author fonts that they are using on your cover, that is a great jumping off point for the text that you are using on your designs themselves. So, if you are able to reach out to your publisher for that information, that's a great way and a great place to start building your brand kit, is what has already been designed for you, and building it from there. Because Canva has a huge arsenal of fonts. If I go in here, you can, it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. I'm only in the D's right now with the titles of these fonts. And you have the ability to upload your own fonts. So if for some reason your publisher has used a font that is not available in Canva, you can go online to Google Fonts, myfonts.com. You can purchase the font for your own use. It's usually a relatively small expense. And, anywhere between, $10 to $30 for the proper licensing. And it's something that you can use over and over again as you begin to promote yourself. And it's not limited to your bookmark or your business card. So I hope that this deep dive was useful. It showed you that you're not far behind on the of where you should be as you're preparing for your conferences. These are things that you do want to begin thinking about right now though, because printing takes time. If for some reason the print, you receive your printed items and you're like, ooh, I actually don't like how this looks. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough leeway for things to arrive, for your designs, for your packages to get lost and resent. Give yourself some space to get these items ordered and delivered to you before you go to all of these wonderful conferences. So with that said, I hope again that this has proved useful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment on the video, reach out to me via social media. If you are like, Sarah, I still do not want to do this myself, I would like you to design these items for me, please know that people are booking. My time is booking up fast. So if you want to have these designs ready for your conference visits, make sure that you're doing that sooner rather than later, because time is not our friend in these particular situations. So again, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Like and subscribe to make sure that you get notifications when new videos are posted. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Happy designing, everybody. Have a good one.